Hey everybody, it's Monday, February 8th. Great news for seniors who are 80 or over. Today is the day that you can go get your schedule a vaccine appointment. Uh, Based on the reports that they sent last week and an email that OHA sent out, there's a chance that this tool may be changing. And it's already changed some since I recorded the last video, but I wanted to walk through what it looks like right now, and in particular look at what it means to schedule something at PDX Airport. So this tool has two options, I think, for people in the Portland area, either the Oregon Convention Center or the airport. There are other options in Portland. You can get stuff through pharmacies. You can possibly get it through like OSHU, possibly health providers. But this is the main tool, sort of like where most vaccinations are going to happen. So we can scroll down, and again, here's the chart that shows you who's eligible and who is not eligible. We have just reached this 80 and older group, but if you were in any of the previous groups and have not got vaccinated, you can still do so. You can either click Let's Get Started here or click on the chat bot. Either one opens up the chat bot over here. This is where you're going to want to go. You're going to start the chat. OHA actually made some changes here, so the chat bot is much faster than it was before, which is great if you have to hit it repeatedly, which is something I have done a few times. So I'm going to determine our eligibility. Yes, we want to determine, are we 80 or older? This is a new question. Yay! I'm going to say yes. Now it's going to ask if you have a mobility-related disability. This is an attempt to try to get people who can walk to go to the convention center and people who need to go to the airport to go to the airport. I'm going to go the airport route because just a few moments ago they had appointments available. We'll see whether they still do. Would you prefer to go to the convention center, which is walk-through clinic, or the airport, which is a drive-through clinic? I'm going to go ahead and say the Port of Portland. This path gets much faster now that we're dealing with basically people over 80. At this point, I can schedule, and it's going to go to a series of questions on OHSU. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that. OHSU's site. Do we live in Oregon? Yes, we do. Are you 80 or older? Yes. Have we received any vaccine? No. Have you been in close contact with someone who's tested positive? No. Do you have COVID symptoms? No. Tested positive ever? No. Immediate allergic reaction or not to piosorbate? And to be honest with you, I started recording this as quickly as I could because appointments go too quick, and I wanted to make sure I could get through this process. I don't know what this is, so it's something to Google or search for and try to figure out. Maybe if you've had an allergic reaction to it, you would know. I'm going to say no. Immediate allergic reaction to any other vaccine? No. Any history that could be problematic? No. All right, now you get to make an appointment. This is going to take you to a third web page. All right, and on this page, it's going to provide a lot of information about sort of what you're doing, MyChart accounts. I don't know if this is the same MyChart that Legacy uses or not. I thought OHSU was a separate system, but the actual scheduling application appears to be the same scheduling application that's being used in at the convention center. Below, that's got information about where to go into the PDX airport economy lot and sort of how it happens. So this is all useful information, but I would read it afterwards and instead focus on scheduling the appointment that you want. So let's say you want 1:15. This is going to look very similar to what we saw before. Why do you want this? Do you have a MyChart account? You can log into MyChart. Not a MyChart user, you can continue as a guest. I'm going to continue here. Testing. Mail 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 1 2 3 4 Main Street. All right, Portland. Now the nice thing about this particular form is it does not ask for your county, which is a blessing because the other one if you watch the other video, it has a very, very long list of counties, some that don't even seem to be in Oregon, and at least it doesn't look like it to me. And so it was kind of a pain to get through. Okay, so we'll hit next. This is another thing I want to point out. So this is what, from a web perspective, is called an iframe. It is a frame inside of the overall web page. So if you have your cursor outside of the iframe and scroll up and down, you move the whole page. If you have your cursor inside the iframe, you move the iframe. You're going to want to make sure your cursor is inside there, otherwise you won't get all the way down to see things like the other fields and the next button. So now we've got insurance information. You can see here actually it is it's a little different again in that it's asking information about the subscriber's name and date of birth, which is not information that the previous form only, or the OCC form, the last time I looked, only had the top 3 fields. So these are 2 new ones. And again, I was talking about that iframe scrolling. Look at this. If you didn't know about the scrolling, you would think that there was nothing to be done because it's cutting off where you need to go. You need to scroll all the way down until you see the next button. Same thing here. We've got a CAPTCHA to prove that you're not a robot. Scroll all the way down and then hit schedule it. I am assuming, because this is the same scheduling application that is being used for the convention center, that you could run into the same problems I saw at the convention center where the form sort of invalidates. I think, again, like these are sort of time-limited codes. It looks like if you refresh the page, you can start over. So don't get flustered. But again, I recommend having all the information ready to go for when you start this process. All right, so that's it for scheduling at the airport. The rest of the information about where to go is down below, and you can sort of take your leisure to sort of see how that works. Because you're not going to, like right now, if you schedule it, you're not going to get in until Saturday or Sunday at the moment. Yeah, so that's that. All right, I'm going to start over in this process. I just went through the process to try to get an appointment at the airport. I'm going to see whether there are any appointments available at the convention center and if that process has changed at all. Again, I think that there's a chance that this again may change at noon. This is Friday, or this is Monday morning, February 8th. So if you're looking at it after the afternoon, it may have changed some. Okay, so right now, scroll down again. Here's your eligibility chart. We can either press let's get started, or we could press this chat bot. We're going to start the chat. As I mentioned earlier in the when I was looking at the flow for the airport, the chat is much faster now. So we're going to do eligibility, and because we're going to look at what the flow is for. We're going to say we want to determine our eligibility. We're going to look at what the flow is for 80 or over. We're going to say yes. And at this point, it's going to ask us if we have a mobility-related disability. I'm going to say no this time and see whether it just eliminates. Yeah, so it eliminated the option of the airport. If you say no to mobility-related disability, it's going to basically just say go to the convention center. I'm going to say yes at this point. And then it's going to ask the questions about allergic reactions to any medications or vaccines. Have we received any doses? Tested positive for COVID-19? Have you had any non-vaccine in the last 14 days? Close contact? No. Based on these answers, been cleared to schedule. If you find the appointments, check back daily. We're going to go ahead and click schedule now. And it'll open up the Legacy Health Systems webpage for scheduling at the convention center. And actually, there are appointments available right now as of the morning, February 8th. So we could go ahead and schedule something, I don't know, let's say Thursday at 2, COVID second dose, schedule it. I'm going to continue as guest. This looks basically like what I was seeing before. Email 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Testing at example.org. Main Street. Oops. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier, where the county pull-down menu is kind of a pain in the butt. If you look, it's just full with a bunch of stuff. I mean, these cannot all be in Oregon. I'm pretty sure they're not. So it's got a lot of information you don't need here, and getting to the correct county is problematic. But if you're on a hard physical keyboard, you can type MUL on the keyboard and get to Multnomah, or CLA and get to Clackamas, sort of quickly get to whatever you're looking for. Same thing with Oregon. This applies to most form fields. It's a tip that you may or may not have encountered, but if you haven't, it's going to be a lifesaver on something like this county field that just has way too many options. We're going to hit next. Then we've got this list of providers that are health insurance, member ID, subscriber ID. So this looks exactly like what I saw before. And then I am not a robot. I mentioned in the site for the airport that this is an iframe inside of a page. That's again what we're seeing here. So if I scroll outside of the iframe, I'll move the whole page. If I scroll inside the iframe, it just scrolls that area. It doesn't have as much impact on the legacy site because the box is actually big enough where the buttons are showing up. But again, I'm not going to schedule this. If for some reason you hit schedule it and you get an error, this code here is a time-limited code, but it should be fine for you to be able to refresh the page. Oh, it wants me to say my password, which was just gibberish. And you can start over. But, you may lose your time slot. So that's it for the moment. Looks like there are some appointments available. Good luck scheduling. First shot for us went fine. Yeah. Hope you all be well, be safe. Thanks.